King Mwanga the Great, Chapter 6. The tension in the kingdom, the king's palace in particular, multiplied every now and then. There was a great influx of the whites in the kingdom in different groups. These included traders, explorers, missionaries, colonialists, and others. They entered the kingdom at will, moved out as wished, and moved freely without limits. This drove suspicion from the natives, who named them Bazungu to mean people who wander anyhow. Now, the issue at the palace was that of the white bishop James Hannington. There was a paradox at the palace, and one of the converts known as Balikudembe became a victim when he scooped information and took it to the French missionaries. In simple terms, Balikudembe acted as a spy for the missionaries, and when arrested, he was sentenced to death on 15th of November 1885. Things did not come at the king's palace. The chief of Busoga, Wakoli, had proved unruly, having delayed to pay his annual tribute in the form of ivory to the Kabaka of Buganda. This came at the time when rumor had it that Wakoli had an external force supporting his disobedience. In the same manner, the king received the news about a foreigner entering Uganda using eastern direction, known as Bishop James Hannington. Since time immemorial, the late King of Buganda Kingdom, Suna II, had prohibited foreigners from using the eastern direction when entering Buganda. He made it clear that foreigners had to use the south, that is to say, they had to sail on Lake Victoria, known as Naluwale, such that someone would easily be seen and identified from a distance before reaching the kingdom. In this, King Suna II aimed at creating safety of his people because, according to him, it would be dangerous to enter Buganda from the east because it was difficult to identify someone. It became the land's law and worked for many years. Foreigners were advised accordingly to avoid the consequences of breaking the law. To Bishop James Hannington, the king and nobles sat immediately to avert the situation that was likely to be bitter. The king advised that a group of people had to be sent to monitor the activities of Hannington and establish the number of people he was moving. However, strong men at the palace, including Prime Minister Mukasa, Tebukoza, Sekamwa, Kibale, Kibirango, Kabunga, Kalungi, Makumbi, and Ngobya had another view of the bishop's action. At first, the officials at the palace advised the king to send an emissary to Bishop James Hannington, inform him about the laws of the land, and warn him that using the eastern direction would be interpreted as an invasion to the kingdom. This was meant to divert the bishop to go back and use Lake Victoria. At the same time, these notables changed their mind and advised the king to kill him, for he was an enemy to the kingdom. They explained that whoever arrived at Buganda's border from Busoga was informed about that direction, and using it was a broad daylight declaration of war against the kingdom, and was to be treated as an enemy. An extreme group of nobles that insisted on killing the white bishop moved very fast. These interpreted the Christian teachings differently. For example, when the converts prayed, "Our Father in heaven, your kingdom come, etc. They told the Kabaka of Buganda that his own people had betrayed him by calling upon the white man's king to come and take over Kabaka Mwanga II's throne. When the other group of Kabaka Mwanga II's advisors tabled another alternative, the radical group secretly dispatched their agents and secretly ordered for the murder of Bishop James Hannington on 29th October 1885 instantly. They continued to tarnish the name of foreigners before the Kabaka, who began to listen to them with more attention. The killing of Bishop James Hannington alarmed many people, especially the whites operating in Buganda Kingdom. This forced Alexander Mackay to attack the king and confronted him. You killed that white man, yet your late father, called them to come and teach your people. Should we leave? He was so hungry with the Kabaka and never rested, for he knew something had to be done.